Welcome to another edition of This is Pickleball. I'm your host, Rick Witsken, along with my co-host, Fabian Rodriguez. Everybody, we have a lot to talk about today, don't we, Mr. Fabes?
We do, and I'm glad we're here back-to-back weeks. I love being in studio here at the beautiful Third Shot Pickleball in Indianapolis, Indiana. But before we get started into everything that we have to talk about today, I'm talking to you, the listeners, the watchers. We need people to subscribe on YouTube. So if you haven't subscribed and you enjoy the content, go ahead and do that right now. Press pause, go do that. And rate and review us on Apple and Spotify. That would go a long way, and we would really appreciate it. Typically, we wait to the end of the episode to say that stuff, and it makes no sense because maybe sometimes people don't listen all the way through. So if you're listening now, go do us a solid and go do that. But we've got a lot to jump into, so we're just going to get into it. We're going to start with some upcoming events. There's a lot going on. We're getting ready to get into summertime. Typically, when you live in a place like Indiana, it's like outdoor time. You want to go play outdoor. I personally love playing indoor at all times. I've become a complete diva, and if it's a little too windy or the sun's out and it's too bright, I'd rather play indoors. So we've got a bevy of events coming up. So I'm just going to run through those real quick. So on May 31st, it's a Sunday, I believe, right? Sunday, May 31st, we have the Interleague or the Interclub League Combine. So that's going to be an opportunity for players at the 2.5, 3.0, 3.5, 4.0, and 4.5 level to come and really get the highest level competition games. Are all going to be kind of grouped within your skill rating. The first 8 people to register for their particular division get a guaranteed spot to get those 7 rotating games. And then if we get more, we'll kind of figure out where to fit you in. So you want to register now. That link is live on Court Reserve. So if you use Court Reserve, go find Third Shot Pickleball and look for that event. But the Combine is going to be, like I said, an awesome opportunity to really see where you stack up against other players across the city, because this is an interclub league. So we've got Go West, IPC, East, North, and South, Pickle on Penn, Dink House, and then us. So did I miss anybody, Rick?
No.
So you have the opportunity to compete against all those people, and then it's also an opportunity to get scouted. So if you end up not playing for the Third Shot team and you want to go play for a different team, there's going to be either owners or representatives like captains from those teams looking for people to play in the summer session, which is going to start in June. So be on the lookout for that.
I mean, you really couldn't get a better format for just signing up one person, right? You don't need a partner, and it truly is a great barometer for how you are playing, because you'll play with everybody else in your pod. So really not a viable excuse, my partner let me down. No, you're playing with everybody. And to your point, Fabian, just to backtrack, indoor pickleball is where it's at. Let's be real. Skin cancer, way down if you're playing indoors. You deal with the sun and the wind and the rain. It's just really annoying because a couple of those factors are usually in play most of the time when you think about outdoors. So it's why the CSP, formerly the NPL, is played all indoors. It was mind-boggling for me to see tournaments in the early on that were full-on rained out. They had some U.S. Open brackets that were washed out. People came from all over only to be rained out. So not a big fan of that. Not a big fan of going to indoor gym floors and changing the format to play a one-game rally scoring to 5. Like, that's not great. So I assume more than one of our events is indoors.
Yes, and that's actually going to be the theme of everything that you're going to hear here in the next couple minutes. And I just want to say, while I love playing outdoors, I will still play outdoors. It is fun, so I don't want to sound like inauthentic, because I do enjoy playing outdoors as well every now and then. But if I had a preference, my preference would be to play indoors, just so that the kind of like all the accommodations are correct and I'm not making excuses for why I'm sucking. So the other thing that I'm very excited about, this is kind of breaking announcement for what we're going to be doing here at Third Shot. It's called the Summer Series. So it is a series of 3 individual events over the course of the summer, highlighting one specific discipline at each event. So what does that mean? On Saturday, June 20th, Yes, Saturday, we're going to have a singles-only tournament, which to my knowledge, there really hasn't been that many around here. Rick, you can speak to that a little bit more.
I don't think so. And I mean, we've had pro tournament, the APP Indy Open. My wife and I ran that years ago, and the best singles players in the world were playing here. We clearly have some singles events tagged on to other events, but a lot of times they're on Fridays where people have to get out of work to try and do that. So you can't be more accommodated than the club willing to dedicate their indoor courts on a Saturday. This is your time, singles players. And if you've never played singles, give it a try.
Yes, this is your opportunity.
You're starting to figure out singles, and you weren't a singles guy 2 months ago, were you?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been single since 2010. You know what I mean?
Was that when you were married?
No, that's when we started dating. You're trying to catch me. I'm not slipping up. But no, it is honestly a perfect opportunity if you've never played singles to do it, right? It's especially if you're a member here at Third Shot, or this is the club that you call home, whether you're a member or not. Just you're going to be familiar with the facility. And I think back to the Spring Invitational, and that was so much, that's really what motivated me to start wanting to play singles. Is like, I saw how much fun, and you know, you watch it on TV, or maybe you watch it on TV, watch the pros play. But when you see it in person, you're just like, man, I want to go out there, because it is just you. It's like, where do you stack up against one other person? So that's going to be really fun. That's on Saturday, June 20th. On Saturday, August 1st, we're going to have a mixed doubles day. So that's going to be a mixed doubles only tournament. And then on Saturday, August 29th, we're going to do a gendered doubles tournament. So men's and women's doubles. So that's going to be awesome. Be on the lookout. By the time this goes live, those events should be up on pickleballtournaments.com. But we're very excited to host those, specifically really excited for the singles Saturday. I think we can pull a lot of people to come in and play either for the first time or at the highest level of competition.
You know, I just want to preface a singles entry or not with not judging yourself, predispositioning yourself to not being a singles player. You know, I'm probably the biggest senior pro out there at 6'3", 235, and I love singles. And I like motoring around, and yes, you know, it takes a little more for me to get going than a lot of these shorter, faster guys, but the wingspan, look, it doesn't even matter what your body type is. If you think you're fast or you're not, the angles, the ability to hit slices and come on in and, you know, create issues on their backhand side. I mean, do it, give it a try.
And does it translate into your doubles game, do you think?
You know what? I think it makes your drives a little more on point. I also think it makes you have more depth on your returns in doubles, which I don't think about a lot in doubles. But right after singles, I do think about the depth. I think it makes you force your serve to be deeper in the box as well. So I think there's some things that translate well. I think there's some things that don't translate well.
Awesome. Like I said, very excited for that. 3 more here on September 12th. So the weekend of September 12th, we're going to have a huge citywide Interclub tournament hosted here. So that's kind of separate from the Interclub League that's going on. This is expanded from, 6 facilities to, I believe, 14, kind of across the whole city of Indianapolis and maybe a little bit beyond, that are coming together here at Third Shot to claim who is the best club. And I believe that's going to be a team format at the 12, 14, 16, and 18 level. So be on the lookout for information on that. We have
I just want to say that Lisa Farley is helping coordinate that, and what she's doing right now with her health battle is nothing short of heroic. So big shout out to her. And I do know Third Shot will be hosting at least one day of that event. So we're really excited. For clarity, Fabian, is there DUPR connection to the other tournaments? I know the Combine, there is not a DUPR connection to that, but the individual tournaments you were referring to.
So the summer series will be tied to your DUPR, yes. Yep. We're going to host a big fall tournament, and I know we're kind of looking far into the year, but I'm excited that we've got everything on the calendar now. So the weekend of October 3rd, we're going to do a huge fall tournament here, similar to the Spring Invitational. And then the second annual Dinkmas. Dinkmas is coming back, baby. MLP at Third Shot Pickleball the weekend of December 5th. So we're expanding that to 2 days so that we can open it up to more teams. So we'll have it separated at the 12 and 14 and then 16 and 18. So that'll be a 2-day tournament. So excited for all that.
And you guys did an incredible job with Dinkmas this year. And just like our club has now turned a year old, everything in year 2 will be bigger and better than year 1.
That's right. That's right. Okay. Personally, we got some huge tournament updates for me. If you guys have been following, you haven't seen the videos yet because I did absolutely terrible. Went 0-4 at my first tournament, or not my first tournament, but the first one for the reset. If you remember, that video is still locked in the vault, but I believe we will be coming out with that here soon. But, kind of alluded to this a little bit. I'm playing my first singles tournament this Friday at the Greatest Spectacle up at the Pickler in Noblesville. Playing 3-5. It's a huge pool. I think there's a couple of other Third Shot members. There's one of your students, Logan, is going to be playing, so I'm going to have to go up against him. Who do you want to win? Just kidding.
I just want everybody to do what it says on this wall. Life is always in progress. You make progress, he makes progress. And by the way, I'm proud of Rick and Bridget Witsken to be the originators of the Greatest Spectacle in Pickleball here in Indianapolis in the tournament.
I've heard that.
We brought
before.
that to the city, so I'm sure they'll give us a shout out.
I hope so. If not, I'll make sure they mention it. So I'm on my revenge tour 2026, going back at it, 3-5, new partner, new me, new haircut. What's up? What has me most excited about this tournament is that Kristen played in it last year. It's a state qualifier for the opportunity to go play at Worlds in Dallas. Her and her partner Annie did a great job. I believe they took silver in that tournament last year. Went to Dallas, got gold. So they went undefeated. It was an epic third game. And so I would love the opportunity to go do the same thing. And it sounds like a lot of folks from our club are playing. So it would be awesome to have a big congregation of people all at Worlds in Dallas because that event is just phenomenal. So
yeah, we're excited about that. We are playing also, we being CSP, are playing at 3 MLP events.
Is that one of them? Mm-hmm. Oh, so you guys will do the first one too, probably at the Pickler Universe or whatever, the season opener.
Our season opener's in Chicago.
Got it.
But we'll definitely do a MLP and PPA in Dallas.
Oh shit!
Shoot.
Speaking of, big announcement. Rick is coming home.
I just want you to know that I have nothing but love for my dearest regular season champs, second place Tsunami. Love them. Amazing. James, GM of the century. Stefan, amazing owner. Love my teammates. My gosh, my Seattle friends, Brian and Andrea and Karabath and Maggie and the Coos. And it just, the list goes on and on and on. And, but it was kind of right as we go more into a geographic connectivity between pros at the 50 plus and where they're located. Do you know that song? I think
Which
Jim
one?
Neighbors sang it at the Indy 500. Back home again
Yeah.
in Indy. Okay, I won't sing it, but anyway, I'm happy to be back home on the Indy Drivers. Jose DeRisi and I, what? Do you think you're going to hear us from down the street? I think so. Karin Kokis and Helen Wilhelm. You're talking about Pod 1 players that are ready to rock and roll.
Are we hosting an event here?
We are not hosting an event. We were going to host one in May. We restructured, so we'll get one again next year.
Yeah. So if people want to see the drivers, is Chicago probably the closest?
It is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's in July.
And there was a lot of shakeups too. I was looking at all the lineups. I think a lot of people kind of changed teams, right?
They definitely did. And more interesting is that I probably don't know 40% of the players.
Oh, wow.
When you're talking about a bunch of 49-year-olds are coming in, 50-year-olds. And also, please remember, some of our teams, 16 of them now, we've got L.A., Detroit, Las Vegas, and Utah all coming
Those are all expansion teams?
Yeah, expansion teams.
Wow.
Not to mention we're adding the 40 and over and the 60 and over. So like my pro mixed partner, Beth Bellamy, she's playing on the LA Extreme in both the Premier, which is a 50 plus.
Yeah.
And she's playing the 60 plus Masters as well. So
talk about that a little bit. How do those kind of weekend tournaments work? Is it like a totality, or each of those divisions kind of their own thing, kind of like MLP had Premier and Challenger, right? So their wins and losses really didn't kind of go against one another.
Right. So if you're on the 60 plus, let's say of Seattle, and you're playing on Thursday and Friday and your team wins, it doesn't affect you as a Premier 50 plus player.
Yeah.
But what can happen, you only have 6 men and 6 women on a team for the Premier.
Yeah.
And if somebody gets injured, you can pull your top 60-year-old into your lineup.
That's cool.
That is cool because they'll be on location, right? They will just finish the day before. So that works out well. The 40s, I believe, are on the weekend as well, but it's smaller teams. Yeah. So the good news is we filled out all our brackets, and shout out to Adam Painter, who's on the CSP board, along with board member and team owner Julie Gibson. They did a great job parlaying these 60s, and I know Seattle GM James Main did an amazing job getting a lot of the 40-year-olds.
Yeah.
I saw Susanna Bars playing. Remember Susanna, our guest?
Did she not play last year? Or has she played before?
No, well, she's not even 50. She has to play in the 40s. We didn't have 40s last year.
No offense to Susanna. I was just...
Yeah. You thought we had 30s last year, and she played.
That's right.
I get it.
That's right. Any other, rule changes? I know that there was some differences between MLP and CSP now, but because your team breakers were different than the dream breakers, right? And there was some differences there.
Yeah, no, we're keeping our same format with definitely a team breaker where it's all doubles. And the ball we used the Selkirk last year. I know we're down between the Franklin and the Lifetime ball. So I haven't heard from our CEO which one we're going with. Obviously, that's a sponsorship matter. But what is cool, Fabian, is that our players are going to be right there during the PPA or MLP event where we can observe them. Heck, maybe they'll even come and observe us. I think
there is going to be some overlap there, and I think it's a great opportunity for some of the older athletes to get some exposure to the fans that are coming there to see the pros that are on tour on the PPA. So I'm excited for you, man.
In a bigger picture, Boca Surge just became under the umbrella of the
Royals, the Palm Beach Royals?
Palm Beach Royals. Yeah. So you're seeing some connectivity, and even some of the team owners in the CSP are considering connecting, like Utah it's the Utah
Black Diamonds.
There's consideration of a Utah.
Well, the Sliders too. I mean, Columbus has a team, and they did really well last year too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the Hot Shots did well.
You got it.
Yeah.
Yep. So
see, I stay up on it.
Nice.
You guys watch CSP?
Respect your elders.
That's right. All right, let's move on to some news here. Did you catch any of the PPA finals?
I did not.
This past weekend?
Tell me what you saw.
Okay, so, I mean, it was a great tournament. It's a little interesting. It was hard for me to follow because, it was just different than a normal tournament weekend because it was pool play. I mean, it's just I would play. You'd pool play, top seeds from your pools move on. But it was just multiple days, different pools, all playing one another. But I'll just give you the results here. In men's singles, the number one singles player in the world won. Chris Hayworth beat JLG, so John Lucian Goins, Luch. He beat him in straight sets. Women's singles, Kate Fahey beat Brooke Buckner. Now, a question for you here, Rick. I want to get your opinion on this. So if you are Kate Fahey, does it matter to you that Annalie Waters wasn't there, right? She's never beat her before, has only won gold in tournaments that Annalie Waters isn't playing in. For you, right, put yourself in her shoes. I'm not asking you to speak for her, but act as if you were her, right? So now this is Rick in her position. Would that wear on you? Would that bother you? Would that make it feel any less than a gold medal that she wasn't there and you didn't beat the number one player?
It's a great question. It certainly happened to me, and it's happened to a lot of pro athletes. At the end of the day, Kate is still young, and the money matters. Yeah. And she's obviously winning more money getting gold there. So I think that is a piece of it. I also think the more you win events, no matter who's in it, the more popularity your brand gets, and you're aware of that. But having an asterisk by your accomplishment, not beating the best, feels only lukewarm as the innermost competitor that you are. As a businesswoman, Kate Fahey, financially, the prestige behind the live stream and sponsors, it's a great thing for her.
Yeah.
And obviously she wouldn't have gotten there, most likely, if Annalie was in the tournament. But at the end of the day, the win is a win is a win, and it helps her brand. And I think she's probably tickled.
Yeah. Yeah. And she's a great player. No doubt she's incredible. I mean, she had a heartbreaking loss to her the weekend before. I think she was up like 10-3 and couldn't close it out. Maybe it was a little tighter than that, but she was up for like most of that first game. And then some guy just started chirping in the crowd and just be like, "Come on, Kate, let's go," when Annalie was serving. And then she didn't lose a point and came back to win 12-10. It was wild.
Don't wake a sleeping bear.
That's right.
I do want to give a shout out to Chris Hayworth. I watched him in Cincinnati last year, and he's a big guy too.
Yeah.
And the way he hits that two-handed backhand, he can manipulate it any which way. I thought that guy would be the best singles player in the world when I saw him last year in Cincy. Love my boy Roscoe Bellamy, my mixed doubles partner's son. And I know he lost by 2 points to Hunter Johnson in that round robin that they had. So it was so close. And then Lucien Goins, that guy is a great up-and-comer, and I think he'll be on Team Paddle Tech before he knows it. And it's shocking to me he doesn't have a major sponsor yet, but we're going to get him there.
And I mean, he's had some great success thus far. I think he's got 2 gold medals, maybe 3 already.
Wow.
And then just added a silver this past weekend. So the one last thing that I'll say about Kate Fahey here is it's like very similar, I feel like, because I've mentioned this before, the only other sport that I watch is UFC, right? Like it's the only other one that I can kind of like speak intelligently about. And there's always this thing where like there's interim belts, right? So if the champion gets hurt, they create this interim belt, and none of the people that end up winning that belt really enjoy it because it's like, I didn't beat the best to get this, right? So they almost kind of dismiss it. And I know this is completely different because there's tournaments every single weekend and you're not putting your literal life on the line, right? Some of these people are putting their life on the line and suffering major brain injury to win a gold belt. But I just think if that were me, I would just be like, this just doesn't feel complete until I get that win,
Yeah, I mean, I think, ultimately, pickleball is a sport of fitness, both physically and mentally. And, rarely do you get all the top athletes in a great headspace physically and mentally. I mean, headspace, mentally, obviously, and their body, physical. Usually something's not feeling great, but I understand how you kind of want to beat the best. But my gosh, I mean, how big are the qualifiers for these events?
Yeah.
How many people tried to get into the event that you just won?
Yeah.
I'd like Kate to not
That's good perspective.
reflect on who she didn't beat, but she was the queen of the hill, I should say the mountain,
Yes.
with the number of people that tried to get in and got beat into that tournament.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Men's doubles, Ben Johns, Gabe Tardio continue to dominate. They took out Fed and Andre Deskew. So friend of the show, Andre. And then women's doubles, no surprise here. Anna Bright, Annalie Waters take out a very competitive new team that has formed in Paris Todd and Rachel Rohrbacher. I love that team, that matchup. I think, if they continue to play together, they're going to cause some problems for Annalie. And Paris Todd is one of the few females that has actually beat Annalie in singles before. So be on the lookout for more from them.
You just have to consider those 4 women the ultimate warriors and competitors. Yeah. I know all of them. I got stood up by Paris Todd in the split age in U.S. Open a couple years ago, but I forgive her. But no, seriously, the level of competition and vibe and playing the big moments, watch those women. They're spectacular.
Yeah. Incredible games. And then to round it out, mixed doubles, you had Ben and Annalie take out Christian Alshon and Rachel Rohrbacher. So Rachel having a ton of success this year. Continue to see her name up there in semifinals and finals. So good for them.
And she's interested in coming on the show, which is another bonus.
Let's make it happen.
I've known Rachel for a while, and she's friends with the Kawamotos, and to me, she's a little bit of an indie girl, even though she's been in Cincinnati too. So
yeah,
good job, Rachel.
Let's go, Rachel. All right, and then going back a week, have you heard about this Tama kid?
I saw clips of him on Instagram.
Okay, it's Tama Time. This young guy from Hawaii, incredible run. I'm going to pull up the article here because they're calling this one of the greatest runs in men's singles pickleball. And for a kid this young, who only started playing maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And
how old is he?
I believe he's 15. And didn't have a racket sport background. He wasn't a tennis kid, wasn't a pickleball kid. He was like a skateboarder, surfer, found pickleball, and then just started picking it up. And has just got kind of a very unique, unorthodox style to a certain extent. And is just young and moves well.
Where's he from?
Hawaii. Yeah, which I think adds even a bigger layer. So in the round of 64, he took out the number 48 player, Syed Uzair Sufi. I've never heard of that person before, but he took him out. Round of 32, takes out Jaume, who's a very tough out.
Vich?
Martinez Vich. Round of 16, beats the number 2 player in the world, Federico Staksrud.
Was that in straights?
No. He lost the first game 6-11 and then beat him 8-9. Wow. In the quarterfinals, beats Noe Cliff in straight sets, so 8-4 there. And then semifinals, beats Hunter Johnson.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the score?
And then he ended up losing to Chris Hayworth. So that one, 11-7, 8-11, and then 11-1. So last game 2 came back and won game 3. Almost pickled him, which is kind of crazy. Yeah. But then lost in straight sets to Chris Hayworth in the finals. But what a run for this kid. I'm very excited to see kind of what else he does. And then also, I think ended up, I don't remember actually if he got bronze or if they got 4th, but men's doubles made it pretty far as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this kid's on a tear.
Man, today's Giants are tomorrow's schmucks because you got newcomers coming in out of the way. And you find this in the senior pros too. Look, I just told you, I don't know 40% of the 170 players that are playing in our league. That's pretty amazing. I mean, I've been in senior pro 5 years. There's always new, fresh blood. Do not ever take your position for granted when you're on the top.
I mean, look at Ben, right? Like, he was the top dog in singles. And, I mean, he's still having some success when he does choose to play. But he's certainly not number 1 anymore, and it's it's kind of a rotating door. I think Chris is still relatively dominant up there, but, you mentioned Roscoe. Roscoe's having a hell of a year. You've got Federico, you've got Hunter Johnson, right? So, and then you've got these kids like Tama and John Lucian Goins who are all coming for you.
Well, and you think about some of the players that used to do really well that you don't see them medaling anymore. I mean, Tyson McGuffin and even Zane. And is there anybody else you can think of that was kind of a constant? Matt Wright. I mean, these guys were great, and it's almost like
Riley Newman was one of those guys as well. Colin Johns, but we all know why he was there. Just kidding. We love you, Colin. Okay, so moving on to the actual topic of the episode. It's going to be all about partnerships. And the reason why this came about, actually a couple reasons. One, PPA just released an incredible docuseries called Partners. Have you seen it? Have you seen anything about it? No? Any of the previews? It's wonderful. So if you've ever seen on Netflix, they do like Full Swing, which is the kind of like that golf show where they follow the players on tour. Have you seen that? No, they did another one for tennis, which I forget what it was called. I don't think it was called Match Point, but they did a great one for tennis. They've done it for F1. And it's just like this awesome storytelling that kind of pulls you into the personalities within the sport. And so this one was all about just like partnerships, which come to find out, can be very chaotic and kind of mysterious if you hadn't watched this on like how they work, right? Like, how do you go about finding a partner as a pro? And is that something that's set up kind of individually or by an agent or by a manager? And is that for the whole year and all this kind of stuff? So, if you haven't seen the show, it's really good. I think we're only 3 episodes in out of 6, but I hope that they continue to do more with it. But I'll ask you, Rick, because you are a pro. What has your experience been in playing with partners?
It's a great question, and I'm excited to watch the series, even though I rarely watch TV or Netflix series. That being said, I think knowing yourself is number one. Like, you've got to understand who you are, not off the court, but on the court. And clearly, a complementary piece is what you're looking for. If you're someone that really has good hands, likes to play defense, set people up, even you kind of joked, rightfully so, that Colin Johns had so many gold medals because of his brother. But I'd argue that he was a perfect complementary piece to Ben, because if you had somebody firing as much as Ben does, as Ben's partner, and not do it as well as Ben, I think Ben's in trouble. But Colin, go ahead.
Interesting thing that they mentioned on the show was, so Colin's Ben's older brother, right? So kind of Ben came through because of all the stuff that Colin was doing in tennis, and then he just kind of followed along. But Ben ended up taking pickleball a lot more seriously and putting more time into it. And what they say in the show is that they created Colin to be the perfect partner for Ben.
Interesting.
Right? So his role was entirely to just be like the backup person, to do the cleanup, like you're saying, whenever he's pulling the trigger, just to be there ready for it, right? And so when you see that they started having less and less success, was because of the fact that the game was changing and his game style was entirely predicated on like what Ben Johns was doing.
Interesting.
Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Well, in addition to knowing yourself and a complementary partner, you then do have to have that respect level and personality and persona that blends with your partner. Beth and I were a dominant mixed doubles team in the senior pros for multiple years, and I'm the type that's outgoing, pretty gregarious, likes to grunt. I mean, if there's music going, I'll dance in between points, and she's just laser focused, pretty serious. And that kind of buffer between the two of us really worked well. But 2 alphas or 2 Colin Johns that play the beta in a total reset capacity, I think that doesn't work well. But at the end of the day, you have to respect each other big time.
So we did get a bunch of questions actually on this topic, so I'm excited to kind of just throw these at you. So we'll start with the first one here. What makes a good partner?
I think somebody that knows when to take timeouts, somebody that knows what to say and when to say it, and phrasing, hey, maybe we should do this, not I think you should do that. So those are very different reception capabilities. And so I think the personality and the EQ of your partner is really what's most important.
Yeah. And so how are you finding that?
Boy, for me, I'm not as interested in searching and seeking partners at this point, because playing tournaments is not so important to me anymore. I respond to people that ask me to play. Yeah. I'm not out there asking.
And if somebody asks you to play, are you watching? Because like you were telling me a story earlier, it's like someone had asked you to play that I believe they live in Ohio. You'd never play with this person, so you went and watched some of their matches. So like when somebody new asks you to play, is that kind of like your gauge first? It's like, okay, let me go see some of their games and what they've done before. Or are you looking at their DUPR account or pickleball brackets and seeing their results?
Good question. I don't really look at their results as much as I do try to stay in tune when I'm not playing with some of the up-and-coming new players. I'll give you an example. I'm playing mixed doubles. She asked me a couple weeks ago if I would play Cincinnati with her in 3 weeks. and her name's Katri Bozer. She is just 50. She doesn't look it, that's for sure. But she is really athletic. You can tell that she has a tennis background, but she looks like a lot of fun. And she's from Wisconsin, and her and I would think would be a top 4 or 5 seed. Yeah. But she's somebody I could see and envision myself winning it. And I do think if you have enough confidence in your abilities and you think you can win a tournament with a capable partner, that you shouldn't settle for less and play a tournament with somebody you know you can't win it. I've done that a few times, and quite frankly, I'm kind of overdoing that because it can get you, even though you know your partner's new and you're nice and you like the person, it can start working on you mentally and having you doubt yourself, even though your partner was targeted way more than you.
Yeah, and so when you start this new partnership, now I'm just like genuinely like very curious on this. Like, how much strategy are you talking, like on a new partnership, right? Are you saying, okay, this is like my style of like how I like to play, or maybe there's just general rules and we're speaking right now specifically about mixed, right? I believe we've been speaking specifically about mix of like, hey, there's a hard set rule that like 70% of this is like my side of the court, right? And so there's just like this known factor so that they're not kind of disrupting your game. So maybe talk a little bit about that as like people are starting to play more tournaments here. I know I'm starting to do that more, of just like, how do you strategize with new partners on your play style?
One thing's for sure, and you hit the nail on the head, the middle, who's taking those middle balls. And there's plenty of times where my partner's like, be Big Rick and take the middle. But don't even start with that.
I didn't do anything.
But, my partner Beth has a really good topspin backhand or backhand two-hander. And there were times where I let her take those. And she's like, Rick, I want you to take those. I'm like, okay, I believe in you, but I want you to feel that you have your third of the court where you're real comfortable. Yeah. And I'll start doing that. So, will there be a big discussion leading up to a new partnership in a tournament? Not so much. You don't want too much in your head, but I will say, a generalization of, hey, here's how I like to hit my returns. This is what you can expect. I won't hit big serves because I like to get into the point with a drop or a drive. If you want me to drop more than I drive, let me know. I'm happy to slow it down to begin the point. I think those things, and then clearly having awareness of who your opponents are and what their strengths and weaknesses, that's when I really start talking to my new partner. We talk a little bit before the tournament, but it's very general. Mm-hmm. I think it's once you dive into your draw, your bracket, who you're playing, and their strengths and weaknesses, that's when it becomes very tactical and you get very labor intensive about your communication.
Yeah, yeah. And so staying on communication, some people have a play style where they like to talk, either whether that's kind of regrouping after every point, or whatever, or just being very vocal as the point is going on. How do you navigate that if there's somebody that does like to talk, or there's somebody that doesn't like to talk, or maybe there's two non-talkers, right? I think communication is so huge with partnerships.
It's a really good question and a really good point, and that's true. The ability to take on a persona or personality that's not you per se, but it's a better you in competition, you have to do that. You have to bring out that inner beast, even if you're a fairly subdued person. All right, Beth and I, she's pretty subdued. I knew I'd be the vocal one. I mean, there's times where a couple players, males that I will not mention by name, were really aggressive and almost at her. Yeah. And I felt like it was my duty to protect her. So she felt like she had an ally fighting back against the bully. So I think that's one aspect of it. But I think even pumping each other up, if you've got somebody that doesn't naturally do that, you got to do that for yourself and hope that that radiates towards them, where they may not be outwardly showing that, but internally they feel your fire and that rises their tide.
Yeah. We did a DUPR event here, and this is with the new partner that I'm playing with this weekend. And I just found that we had so much success that night, specifically because we were both very vocal. And I don't think either of us had talked about it beforehand, but just we knew where we were on the court because of what we were saying, right? We were either saying me, you got it, you, out, like all those things, those little things that you're not saying a lot, but you're just saying enough so that that other person kind of knows what to expect.
Well, let's face it, you can't be on 24/7 of every match, every point.
Right.
But when your partner elevates their energy level, it's only fair for you to try your hardest to elevate yours. I've never seen a partner elevate their energy and their spice and their zest, and another player go the other way because they're dissatisfied with their partner showing more commitment to the match.
Yeah.
Only seen that stay the same or go up. So you might as well do that, especially when you're losing.
Yeah. All right, we got another question here. Can it work when both people have aggressive play styles? What is the ideal combo? Have one aggressive, one kind of like a reset defensive person?
We certainly touched about the complementary pieces that flow best together. But when you talk about playing the U.S. Open with a Franklin ball, it's hot, that's a slow ball. Having two aggressive players, that doesn't make much sense. Even your aggressive ways are stymied a bit with the heat, and it's why I didn't play it this year. But when you talk about indoors, and you talk about a harder ball, two players going at it full bore, you can literally wipe somebody off the court. So I don't even think it's a bad way to start if you play two aggressive styles. But if you notice that there's too many errors on the aggressive side, then you need to know that one player needs to pull it back, if not both players. So it can work. And I think that the second you feel that tide shifting, you got to go way into higher percentage pickleball.
Yeah. And I'm sorry that these are just a lot that are focused on mixed doubles here, but what makes a good male partner and what makes a good female partner?
Well, certainly behaviorally, I've seen men not treat their women properly, and that's just hard to believe because you should never consider yourself a pro if you can't treat your female partner properly.
Yeah.
Now, it's not all about the guys. I've seen some women be a little, let's just call it calloused at best, but ultimately building your partner up and communicating with almost an affection is super important and mixed. And I also think that the use of timeouts, and then not just using them, but what to say and how you present that information is so important because everybody's on a timeout at a heightened level of stimulation, right? I mean, you just are straight off presumably losing points.
Yeah.
You got to find a way to like let your filter take the good in what somebody's saying and leave the bad on the outside. So, I think that temperament matters. And I also think that discussion of what you want to talk about before you enter the court is a really good idea. For instance, I talked to one gal in a mixed that I hadn't known her before, and she said, hey, I really like on timeouts, I like to use them both, 2 per game.
Yeah.
And I really like to talk about, okay, which player's a little weaker and which side weak. And even if I already knew it, if I knew, okay, the woman's weak on her back end at her heel, keep reminding me of that.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's obvious, but hey, I'll say it both timeouts. Just it's good to have that reiteration of positive targets and zones.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Here we go. So I think this is an interesting one too. So, and I guess this is across all skill levels, but how do you find a partner, right? Like, how do you ask someone to partner with you for a tournament? Maybe you've never played with them before. And then what do you do if they say no? And I bring this up because my wife, Kristen, was doing the reset and she was having to do, for that you have to do 8 games, 2 different partners, right? So a total of 8 games with 2 different partners. And so she was having trouble finding male partners, whether that was availability or what have you. And so just how do you recoup from saying no if somebody says no to you, but then also, what's a good kind of way of going about finding partners that you'd be well paired with to play in a tournament with you?
It's a good question. When you play in a team event, for instance, CSP,
Yeah.
you got 6 men and 6 women on your team. A lot of partnerships have been born out of the NPL CSP team, and not just only on your own team.
Yeah.
having played against players at the pod 2, the pod 3, pod 1, then you realize, wow, they're really good. We had a great match, exchange numbers. I mean, I've had literally mixed doubles partners exchange information in front of me when I was playing with the female, and this guy knew she was good. They didn't know each other, and then they go play. I'm not hurt by that. Yeah. I expect that. Likewise, he should expect me to know his partner's phone number, and I'm going to message her. So I think more partnerships evolve out of a mutual respect competition that seems very high in parity. And then after you play that person that you didn't know, you just exchange information. I think through playing team competitions, certainly CSP, but even in a MLP style event, I think you could find a female you really didn't know and she's on your team. And then lastly, don't be afraid of blind dates. You know, blind date, meaning you see somebody's on the need a partner list at a tournament shoot. I mean, if there were 2 or 3 tournaments that were within 100 miles that I could drive to play on a weekend, I'd look at where I thought I could play in both. And it's okay, sure, maybe you get a female that's not very good and they get, but at least, you know, you're getting more experiences to compete. And it makes you better when you know you have to take over or you're definitely doomed. That makes you better too. So, and in the meantime, everybody knows you're playing with a player that's weaker in that blind date situation. Keep your eyes and ears open and see who's out there that could be an amazing female.
Yeah, that's a fun and interesting point of like asking the person across from you who maybe you beat or just beat you and just be like, yo, we should play together.
Yeah.
I might steal that.
Well, and I wouldn't do that in front of their partner, but when their partner's in the bathroom, it's a good time to go after it.
And then the last one here, are some people better at gender doubles than mixed? Is that a skill to be better at one than the other?
Well, there's no doubt some people are much better at one or the other. In the CSP, it's such an important component because each gender and mixed doubles match counts exactly the same. But I honestly think that the way people view genders and relationships, I think there's some women that just maybe don't bring out their inner beast in front of a guy. I think there's some men that just don't really know how to treat women to bring the best out of them. So obviously gender doubles, especially for men, is a lot different. I've had so many women say, man, you know, playing women's doubles was so much slower than I get out here and the guys just blasting it. It's like almost a shock. And I think that for men, oddly, when I play gender, I focus more on dropping the ball and getting into the point. Whereas in mixed, I'm going after it, and I'm going after it hard. I'm going after her till she shows she can withstand all that
can hold her own.
Yeah.
That's funny. We were here for a birthday party, like a little mini round robin yesterday, and Kristen was the only girl with 7 other dudes all playing. Wow. And she did great. She held her own, and I think it's situations like that make you better at, you know, mixed doubles. And that's so interesting about pickleball. It's one of the only sports where, you know, men and women are really playing at the same level at all times, which is really cool. So thank you for submitting all of those questions. We're going to get into Rick's tip of the day. So no signature shot today, but the tip of the day is brought to you by Third Shot Pickleball here in beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana. So we're going to focus on singles. So what is one tip or piece of advice for playing your first singles tournament? I wonder who asked this question. Who submitted this question for the tip of the day?
Do you know?
I do.
Who is it?
Me.
Oh, wow. Okay. I didn't realize that. I like that. You know, ultimately, my tip would be to not be afraid to take risks on your serve and your return, because when you return in the middle of the court and it's not super deep and your opponent passes you a few times, they get a lot of confidence being able to pass you. You want them to know that you're not going to give them anything easy to hit off the ground. So the return that you hit, they're going to struggle to pass you. And maybe they'll try and drop it. Maybe they'll try and lob it. But I just think tip number one is, as I mentioned earlier on the show, go bigger and go deeper with your serves and returns for singles.
Okay. And then follow-up question, because now we're in it. Is there like a general pattern, right? And maybe this isn't every single time, but general rule of thumb, if I serve to your backhand, right, and I want to come in because it's a good serve, or a return, whatever. When I want to come to the net, right, will the ball, for the most part, either go cross court or down the line on those shots? Because I find myself getting beat all the time because I'm like just running in the wrong direction, right? And part of that could be I'm just running in on the wrong ball, but it just always seems to be that like I misjudge where the ball is going to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, to be clear, we really are referring to one person, and that is the returner.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be referring to the server. So when you are the returner and you hit a little bit of a shorter target, I think you should lean to the down the line and then flow back to the cross court. The deeper return you hit, all right, the less likely they are to hit a great cross court angle.
Yeah.
And so they typically go down the middle or down the line. So that's a general analysis there. Clearly, if you hit a shorter ball, and if it's wide, somewhat wide, those targets cross court are wide open. So in general, more shots go cross court than down the line. But the deeper and harder your returns, the more down the middle and down the line they hit.
Yeah. All right. Well, wish me luck, man.
I believe in you.
My goal is just to win. I just want to win one. I think that's a good, achievable goal. And if I surpass that, then I will be very happy with my performance. But I'm more so there just to have a great time and have fun playing pickleball, you know?
It's a great workout. Singles is a great workout.
Yeah, I'm just happy they're not like 2 out of 3 games like they are on TV. I'd be dead.
Yeah.
I would not survive for men's doubles the following day. I think that's it, man. Anything else on your mind?
I just want everybody to know within the MLP and PPA, the CSP is looking forward to being a family with you. And I want you to know with the Third Shot Pickleball family, we're so excited to host that May Combine for everybody that didn't get to play in the league. Doesn't matter what club you belong to or what park you belong to. Come play in the Combine. There's super fun format. Plus, we'll be here.
Yes, we will. I'll be playing. And Kristen will be playing.
Go, Kristen.
I will say, if you're looking for a new paddle, I actually just got a brand new shape, the RPM Q2 in a wide body, and I've got 2 because I'm going to be playing with the elongated for singles and the wide body for doubles. And it's been like I'm still missing shots because I'm expecting it to be just a little bit longer there, and then I go and I don't hit anything. But I really love the Q2. So if you guys are looking for a new paddle, RPM, use code Fabian 15% off.
Shout out to PaddleTech, TKOC, use code 3SP. And by the way, our fabulous pro Steve Hoy is now a sponsored PaddleTech player. That's
awesome.
Steve.
Shout out to Steve. Heck yeah. Good for Steve. Well, that's it. Until next time, yeah, we're out, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We're out of here. Bye.